Brief History of Indus Valley Civilization. The roots of the civilization reach back to the early agricultural innovations of the Meluhha Neolithic around 7000 BCE. By 3300 BCE, the early Harappan phase began with the Ravi phase at Harappa. Agricultural experimentation at sites like Khadiji introduced crops like peas, sesame, and dates. This period was marked by significant agricultural intensification and the birth of distinct regional styles. Innovative irrigation systems allowed small farming villages to transition into organized urban centers. The first proto-writing graffiti appeared on pottery, signaling a new era of communication. The civilization emerged within one of the three foundational urban riverine ecotones of the ancient world. An early centralization of authority began to shape the physical layout of the settlements. The civilization emerged within one of the three foundational urban riverine ecotones of the ancient world. Even in the early stages, structured funerary practices reflected a shared cultural identity. Security and organization became priorities as populations within the settlements grew. This developmental trajectory set the stage for the mature Harappan urban explosion. Mature Harappan urbanism was defined by a highly structured spatial organization. Standardized baked bricks followed a strict 1:4 ratio for height, width, and length. Broad, straight main streets up to 10 meters wide divided cities into large rectangular blocks. Houses featured a central courtyard for ventilation and thick walls for thermal efficiency. Individual homes had private bathrooms and wastewater systems emptying into covered street drains. Drains featured regularly spaced inspection manholes to facilitate clearing operations. The Great Bath at Mohenjo-Daro was made watertight by a layer of natural bitumen. Fresh water was supplied from a large adjacent well, and dirty water was discharged through a corbelled drain. Dolavira utilized 16 massive stone-lined reservoirs to capture seasonal runoff. This advanced harvesting system secured a reliable water supply during prolonged droughts. Unlike other cultures, the Harappan landscape lacked monumental temples or palaces. Massive hubs like Mohenjo-Daro and Rakhigarhi housed between 30,000 and 60,000 individuals. Architectural precision was governed by a standardized linear and volumetric metrology. The primary linear system was based on the Indus angula, approximately 1.76 centimeters. The standard Harappan brick was built on a 16-unit system derived from the angula. Large-scale planning used the danus, equivalent to 108 angulus or roughly 1.9 meters. For drafting, they used the Indus inch with decimal divisions of 0.2 inches. Their spatial to volumetric ratio was mathematically locked in a 3-to-4 harmonic lock. The primary grain storage vessel was calibrated as a 12-unit cube. This ratio ensured granaries built with 16-unit bricks automatically stored exact multiples of grain. Trade was regulated by cubical chert weights following a strict dual system progression. A binary system was used for lower denominations, with the base unit equaling roughly 28 grams. A decimal system governed higher denominations, reaching weights as high as 12,800 units. This unified system points to a highly skilled, specialized class of engineers and surveyors. Artisans mastered the lost wax process for casting intricate figurines and tools. The dancing girl figurine highlights both artistic mastery and the importance of personal ornaments. Lapidaries utilized superior earnestite drill heads to perforate hard, semi-precious stones. Chemical craftsmanship was used to produce etched carnelian beads with permanent white patterns. An alkaline paste made from wild shrub juice was painted onto stones before firing. The chemical reaction during firing etched the pattern into the stone without cracking it. Faience crafting involved a complex pathway of grinding silica and canister glazing. Steatite, soapstone, was transported over 300 kilometers to be shaped into beads and seals. Seals featured highly detailed iconography, including the famous Pashupati, Proto-Shiva. The priest-king sculpture reflects spiritual beliefs and possibly yogic practices. These complex systems were maintained through lineage-based workshops and specialized city quarters. The Lothal dockyard represents the earliest known tide-controlled harbor in human history. A lock gate and sluice system maintained stable water levels during low tides. High-grade timber and gemstones were gathered at Lothal for maritime export. Direct trade relations were established with a land the Mesopotamians called Meluhha. Sargon the Great boasted that ships from Meluhha made fast at the docks of Akkad. The Indus exported ivory, gold, and lapis lazuli in exchange for wool and olive oil. Meluhhan was a vital source of high-purity copper ore for Harappan metalworkers. Akkadian seals depicting imported water buffaloes prove the depth of these connections. Etched carnelian beads became the ultimate luxury commodity in the Near East. The presence of Harappan-specific designs in Gulf ports indicates overseas craft workshops. This vast maritime web tied the Indus Valley to the great powers of the Bronze Age. To secure rare minerals, the Harappans established specialized colonies like Shortagai in Afghanistan. Shortagai was built with characteristic Harappan mud brick architecture around 2500 BCE. Even in the far north, the colonists used typical Indus pottery and clay carts. The primary mission was to control the extraction of lapis lazuli from the Sarai Sang mines. Harappan artisans processed the raw stone on site before transporting it south. The colony ensured a direct pipeline of minerals into the Harappan core. Official rhinoceros motif stamp seals were used to manage the colony's trade. Shortagai also served as a hub for acquiring Central Asian tin, essential for bronze. This outpost allowed the civilization to dominate the rare mineral trade of the era. Life in the colony mirrored the spiritual and cultural habits of the main cities. The settlement stood as a testament to the civilization's extraordinary geographic reach. Through Shortagai, the Harappans integrated the resources of Central Asia into their economy. A long-term drying trend began around 3000 BCE due to weakening monsoons. Shifting storm tracks and cold Arctic air masses reduced the Indian summer monsoon. The perennial Ghaggar-Hakra river system dried up completely, abandoning over 50 settlements. Severe water scarcity made traditional flood irrigation agriculture impossible. A severe drought lasting nearly 150 years struck the region starting in 1757 BCE. The decline was not a sudden collapse, but a gradual process of deurbanization. Communities migrated toward the wetter Ganges-Yamuna plains and south toward Gujarat. They adapted by switching to summer-cultivated millets and rice better suited for the rain. Resource scarcity likely led to increased interpersonal violence in the later periods. As agricultural surpluses vanished, the massive metropolitan centers became unsustainable. The civilization underwent a metamorphosis, shifting from large cities to small villages. The era of the great cities ended, but the cultural traditions survived in new lands. In the Ganges Valley, an elite warrior complex emerged at Sonauli around 1800 BCE. Copper-covered coffins and horned helmet iconography linked these warriors to their past. The discovery of war chariots at Sonauli challenged the idea of a post-Indus Dark Age. Centuries later, The urban spirit reappeared at Kizadi in the Vaigai River Basin. Pot shards in Tamil Nadu feature graffiti marks with clear parallels to the Indus script. 90% of the graffiti marks from the south showed morphological similarities with Indus signs. The Rakhigarhi genome confirms that the civilization was built by an indigenous population. A Proto-Dravidian genetic line moved south as the northern urban centers declined. Modern desert populations still carry the genetic imprint of the ancient Indus periphery. The civilization provided the enduring cultural foundation of the entire subcontinent. The legacy of the Indus lives on, a bridge between the Bronze Age and the modern world.